tomorrow you're going to be working on voir dire and on client interview. I'm going to start with client interview. Lori Shanks is a clinical professor at Albany Law School, a criminal defense lawyer, a former public defender from Arizona. It's a long story. And just one of the best teachers and most client-oriented people I've ever had the pleasure to teach with or practice with. Please welcome Lori Shanks. Hey, Sheriff Alvarez, how are ya? I heard about the new baby. Boy, I'll bet. So you took some paternity leave?
Yes, next week.
Okay, gosh, you must be exhausted. You know, so I got Garcia, Natalie, Rashi. God, you know, I swear to God, I don't know where some of these people are from or where their names are. Rasha something or other. But anyway, who do you have first? Natalie. Okay, great seeing you. Congratulations again. Hey, hi. Let's see here. Natalie, you're Natalie?
My name's Natalie, actually.
Oh, not, how do you say it again?
Natalie.
All right, Natalie. Oh, just a minute, I forgot my pen. Okay, so, I've got your file here. Let me just make sure I got the right one. Okay, it says here you were selling crack cocaine.
I didn't sell anything.
Okay, look, it doesn't matter to me whether you did it or not.
But I didn't sell anything. I
Okay,
was just there.
you were just there, okay, well,
I live in the neighborhood, I was just there, I didn't sell anything.
all right. Well, look, you know, you need to tell me the truth, but, you know, probably right now would be better if you just don't tell me anything. You know, you need to understand though, that the amounts they allege that were sold carry mandatory prison time. And so that's why, you know, we need to talk about this.
I don't wanna lose my job, I don't wanna be evicted from my apartment.
Okay, well,
Working, I've got
okay,
everything
let me
together.
just stop
This
you
is
right
just-
there,
this is
okay,
just
because
ridiculous.
I cannot
This
help
is
you on
ridiculous.
civil matters. And so, like your job and the eviction, I'm sorry about that, I really am. But, you know, tomorrow they're gonna be taking your case to the grand jury.
Oh. How are we gonna go to trial and we haven't even done anything? What's
Well,
that?
it's a grand jury. Do you know the difference between a grand jury and a trial jury?
Look, a jury, I mean,
Okay,
look,
let's,
okay,
okay,
how are you
come on.
gonna go to a jury trial?
Look,
We don't even have anything, you haven't even talked to me about it.
all right, so let me get some information from you. Okay, what's your full name?
Anthony John Natali.
Okay. All right, Anthony and John, I can spell those. All right, Natali.
Natale.
All right, all right. And so, are you married?
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to make sure that, you know, you're telling me the truth. I'm going to need some more information about your date of birth, you know, your immigration
Look.
status.
I mean, can't we, I gotta get out of here.
Well, what do you think I'm trying to do here?
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to get some from you.
When do I get to see the lawyer?
I am your lawyer. I'm from the public defender's office.
Look, this isn't going right. I want a real lawyer and, you know.
Well,
that's
you
it.
got me. Look around here. It's Sunday night. Other than the guard, you see some real lawyers around here? You know, I'm working my butt off for you and all these other people. You could be grateful and not just bitch at me. Yeah, grateful. Because I'm here. Well, you want me to help you when
I
you're
don't
screaming
need you
at
here.
me?
I don't need you here.
Oh, you don't need me.
I don't
Yes,
know.
good luck on your own. Alvarez, can you let me back out here? Okay, how'd that go for me? Anybody here have any similar experiences with your clients? Okay, so what did I do wrong? Huh? I was unprepared. Okay, what else?
You didn't introduce yourself?
I didn't introduce myself. Does he have any idea who I am? Okay, what else?
You made him seem just one of many people you had to get through today.
How many people walk in with 1,000 files? Okay, maybe 500. Okay, maybe 50. Okay, how many of you have difficulty sometimes pronouncing your clients' names? Or get them wrong and don't ask and don't even know you got them wrong? Okay, what else did I do wrong?
You didn't let him talk.
I didn't let him talk. It's because I know shit. He doesn't, right? Okay, is it a good idea for, nah, probably not. What else did I do wrong?
You didn't tell him his rights or tell him how the process works, so when you got to the grand jury, he was super
Right, so
confused.
I didn't give him very much information and I didn't get very much information. What else did I do?
You started out with punishment.
Too chummy with the cop.
Too chubby with the cop. He's really a nice guy. Okay, so what is that a problem?
You started arguing with him after.
I started arguing with him almost immediately, okay? What else didn't I do? Yeah,
No concern or compassion for the rest of his life that was going to be affected by this?
rest of his life, I don't do civil. Right? How many of you have ever said that to a client? Can't help you on your civil work. Okay, what does your client hear when you say that?
I don't care.
I don't care about you. Oh, you're losing. How many people here would be upset if they were gonna lose their house? How about your job? How about your spouse? How about your kids? Okay, guess what? Our clients are worried about those things too. Okay, and while it might be true that you can't go to family court or wherever foreclosures happen, just saying, yeah, not my problem, doesn't really give the impression that you care about your client. What about caring more about the new baby of the correction officer than your client losing his house? What message does that send?
You don't care about it.
You don't care. Now, in reality, how many of us are friendly with COs? What happens if you're not friendly with COs? Okay, will you ever actually see Natalie? Okay, probably not. Or, you'll see him, with 12 other people who are urinating in the open cell. Okay, yeah, I've been there, all of us have been there, right? The cops think that's hysterical. Okay, so we have these competing concerns, right? How many of you have 14 people that you have to see at the jail? Okay, and you don't have very much time, right? So believe me, all of us who are here talking to you as faculty, we're all there too. We've all been in the jail with 14 files. We've all had to suck up to corrections officers so they'll actually let us into the jail and find our client and get them into the room before they lock down. Maybe they'll let us bring in clothes so that our clients will look nice, when they go in front of the jury. So we have these competing concerns, right? And one of the things that we need to think about is how do we work those competing concerns so the interview doesn't end up like this, where the client says, fuck you, okay, I'd rather have a real lawyer, but nobody would be better than you, okay? Or I don't want a public defender, or as I told one of the groups that I was in today, for a very long time, I thought my name was white bitch motherfucker. I don't want no white bitch motherfucker representing me. And it's kind of hard not to take that personally. Yeah, pretty much. So when they moved to, I like having a real smart Jew lawyer, I was like, I made it. So it's kind of incremental. But one of the things that you want to think about is, why is it that someone says, I don't want no white bitch motherfucker representing me, or whatever it is they call any of you? Why do they do that? Huh? They're angry at everyone? Why else?
Because you're part of the system.
You're part of the system, right? Who's trying to hurt them? Why else? They're scared.
Probably past experience.
Past experience. They might have had bad past experiences. They may just see you as part of the system. They don't know anything about you, but is it really about you? Okay? Who's it about? It's about them. How many of you have ever said anything really mean to someone else because you were mad? How about because you were scared? How about because you were confused and didn't know what was going on? If you get lost, Marty and I were lost on the way back here, even though we've been here for 20 years. It's really stressful. And when people are under stress, or they're scared, or they're confused, or they don't know what's going on, they tend to react the way all the rest of us do, badly, okay, impolitely. And sometimes our clients' phraseology might not be what our mothers taught us. So you want to first just acknowledge that it's really not about you. The client interview is not about you. It's not about your comfort level. It's not about your feelings. It's about the client. It needs to be client focused. And what the client needs. What is it that the client needs at that moment? We have to create trust. We can't demand it. You know, if I just say, how do you pronounce your name? Veda? Vata. Vata, you know, I'm really a really nice person, and I'd like you to tell me the most intimate details of your life. In fact, like the worst moment of your life. Could you just share that with me? And don't worry, I won't tell anyone else. Really, you know, Andrea and I are going out to dinner later tonight. We've been friends for 25 years, but I won't share with her anything you tell me, okay? Do you believe me? Of course not. Of course not, okay? And I could be really being honest and truthful. And that if I promised Vata as a client that I wouldn't tell anyone else, I really wouldn't without her permission. Okay? But why would she believe that? Even after you heard what a wonderful person I am. You still didn't believe it. Okay? So why would our clients believe it? So simply saying, you know, anything you say to me is confidential and you have to tell me the truth, or better yet, don't tell me anything. Because I'm pretty sure if you tell me anything, I'll hate you even more. Okay, that's not gonna work to engender trust or confidences by our clients. It wouldn't work with it wouldn't work with two of you in a group. And you're all here and it's a fairly homogeneous, you're all here for the same reason. Okay, we're asking our clients to talk about what may very well be the very worst moment in their life. Okay, so you can't just demand it. So how do we engender that trust? Particularly when we have 50 files, particularly when we have to see lots of people in the jail, particularly when the person may be different from us in age or gender or ethnicity, or in the language that they speak, whether they're literate or not, whether they're disabled or not, whether they're legally in this country or not, whether they have a different sexual orientation than we do. The first is we need to listen. We need to listen more than we talk, which is really, really difficult for us. And part of it is that we really believe that the most efficient way to get information is to ask a rapid series fire of questions like I did. You know, what's your name, what's your address, what's your date of birth? We seem to think that we're going to be able to get the information that we want by asking questions, or by us talking more than listening. It's not true. You know, if I say to you, were you born in Alabama?
No.
How about Arkansas?
No.
How about Arizona?
I was born in Louisiana.
Okay, all right, because if I just say, where were you born? It really will get me the information. She just didn't even want to wait till I got to the B's, much less down to the L, right? And it's the same with our clients. They really do know more about themselves, about what they've been charged with, about any defenses that they have, about who the witnesses are. They know that much more than we do. We also need to let them know that they're the most important person in the entire case. one of the things when Tony and I were talking about this, when I was the training director in Maricopa County, which is anybody here from Phoenix? Yes. All right, are you in the public defender's office there?
Legal advocate.
Legal advocate, okay, they didn't even have that when I left. But when I was there, do you still get your cases at the preliminary hearing?
No, we only do primarily the capital.
The capital
or-
cases, okay. Bob Briney's on this, right? But he retired.
No, Bruce Peterson.
Bruce Peterson, okay. So, when I was a public defender, we got our cases at the preliminary hearing. And the courtroom, here would be the door. There would be a prosecution table and a defense table and a jury box. And the clients would be here with handcuffs, okay? And there would be a pile of files on the prosecutor's desk. So, everybody, this looks familiar, okay? And so, if you were the lawyer, you go in and you go to the prosecution table so that you could get the files, and you chit-chat with the prosecutor, right? How many of you have more than one case with the prosecutor? Okay, how many of you went to law school with the prosecutors? How many of you actually like the prosecutors? Okay, sometimes they're not that bad a person, right? How many of you, even if you don't like the prosecutor, know you damn well better be at least civil? And we tantalize them, exactly all of us, because we're not idiots, all right? So when I was a trial lawyer, I would do this. When I was the supervisor, I used to sit here and I used to watch this. And, so, how you doing? How about that golf game? How about the baby? How about the shower? How about the whatever? Pick up the file and go here. What do you think the client was looking like?
Chit-chat.
Chit-chat. And what did the client see?
They're friends with the state.
Huh?
They're friends with the state.
You're friends with the state, okay? So I made a rule, okay? You could not talk to anyone in the courtroom before you talk to your client. He or she had to be the very first person you talk to. You had to walk in here and go right over to here. Mr. Natali?
Yeah.
Lori Shanks, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi, I've been assigned to your case and see that guy over there, Alvarez?
Yeah.
He's the prosecutor.
Right.
He's got a bunch of files on his desk. Only thing I know here is you've been charged with possession of cocaine. You know,
Yeah, that can do it, but, yeah, but.
yeah, the cops will have written up some reports on bullshit, about what they're gonna say. All right. It'd be good for us if we find out, like, what lies they might be telling. Okay, the only way I can find out is if I go over there. You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to tell you something, this guy's an idiot, he's like a golf lead-in. So,
Whatever, I mean,
so I might have to like schmooze and probably tell me
whatever you
about his
gotta
game.
do. Do whatever you
Okay,
gotta
I
do.
just want you to know, when I come back.
All right, I'm with you.
Okay. So until I got permission from my client, I didn't go over. Now what happens? Now what's the dynamic?
Give an allegiance
Huh?
Give an allegiance.
We're a team, okay? So you want to make sure that the client sees, not only are you telling him you're a team, but you're showing him that he's the important person in your life and in his case. We're also going to be able at that point, remember we talked earlier about whether or not, Tony was talking about, do you want me to read this or do you want to read it? You might very well be doing an assessment. Is your client frantic? Is your client withdrawing from drugs? Does your client speak English? Do you speak whatever language your client speaks as his or her native tongue? Is your client depressed? Can he or she make eye contact with you? Is she pregnant? Is there a medical issue? Is there a mental health issue? You're making an assessment while you're there. And you're listening, okay? So you want to talk to your client. Forgot my card. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Natali.
Natali. Mr. Natali, what would you like me to call you?
Tony.
Tony, okay. And my name is Lori Shanks.
Okay.
There's another Lori in the public defender's office. I'm gonna give you my card,
Great.
okay? And it's fine for you to call me Lori, but when you call the office, because there are two of us, just always have that card.
So you asked for Shanks.
Exactly right, perfect, okay? So, you know, we're gonna be spending a lot of time together, and I have about 3 rules. First rule, anytime you don't understand something, ask me questions.
All right.
Second rule, anytime you wanna know something, ask me questions.
All right.
What do you think the third rule is?
Ask you questions.
Exactly right,
All right.
okay?
All right.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be going on that may not make any sense to you. You know, we might go into court and the judge and I are talking, or the DA's talking, and I'm talking to the judge, and we're like in shorthand. You know, it's like legal words,
Yeah.
bail application, preliminary hearing. When I come here, you're gonna ask questions, and I'm gonna explain everything to you in a way that regular people would talk.
All right.
Okay, but if we're in court and I'm saying something you don't understand, or if I make a mistake here and you don't understand it, you're gonna ask me a question.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, now, when I first came in here, you know, you were talking about a bunch of stuff about your house
My
and your
job,
job.
my wife, and, just, I don't wanna be evicted, need to let my boss know, I mean, I put a lot of time into try to getting shit together again.
You know, I just wanna tell you, and you probably know this, just you've been here a couple days, when they lock down here, everybody gets thrown out.
Yeah.
So that guy Alvarez, you know, he sounded like he was friendly, yeah, actually not. And in 10 minutes, a bell's gonna ring, and he's gonna come in and tell me to get out. So what I wanna tell you first of all is, I'm gonna be back every Wednesday night.
All right.
I'm here, every single Wednesday. So we have 10 minutes right now, and I just want you to tell me, we can talk about anything you want. So whatever's most important to you, we'll spend the 10 minutes on. And then the next time I come, you'll choose what to spend that time on.
Okay, my job.
Your job. Okay, so let's talk about your job. Okay, blah, blah, blah.
I work at National Pool.
Okay.
And I do pool services. And my
Okay, we're gonna
boss-
pretend like I'm really spending 10 minutes, but Daryl's gonna throw me out of here. She's worse than the guards. Okay, so that's how we all are gonna have time constraints, right? So you're going to let your client, what I call a structured conversation. If he says, I wanna talk about the Boston Red Sox, okay, maybe you're gonna be thinking about whether or not he's been institutionalized in some past life, okay? But if he wants to talk about his job, go ahead and talk about his job. If he wants to talk about getting out of jail, you need to explain to him. It's okay to use legal words as long as you explain them, all right? So if your client says, I want to get out, I need to talk to you about what a bail application is, okay? And what that is it's papers that I send to the judge saying why it is you can be trusted to be out of jail.
I'm gonna show up.
Okay, and that's exactly the standard, okay? Will you show up? Then you can talk to him about what it is you have to put in there. But if you just start asking questions, you know, where do you live? What's your date of birth? What, are you married? Who do you sound like? Cops. Who talks like that? Cops, who else?
Us?
Jail guards, who else? Huh? DMV, who else? Any government agency, you know, the people who take, I mean, one of the things that we have to realize, when's the last time anybody gave out their social security number? Raise your hand if you remember. Why'd you give it out?
Driver's license.
Huh?
Driver's license.
Driver's license, anybody else?
We should give it out all the time. It's part of our organization.
Huh?
It's military.
It's military, okay, but what happens when you give it out in the military?
We just give it out.
Do you get stuff? Do you have a housing allowance?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and do you get paid?
Yeah.
And do they take out stuff like for taxes and stuff, and your uniforms and all that. So for people like us, when we are asked questions, like if I had you, write out your name and address, we would be giving you CLE credit, right? Isn't that the last time you did it? We get passports, we get credit cards. How many people have credit cards? How many people have cell phones that you don't just throw away? The latest record. Okay, when we're asked those kinds of questions, good things happen to us, okay? We get paid, we get credit cards, we buy cars, we buy houses, that sort of thing. When our clients typically are asked those questions, someone is putting them in jail, revoking their probation, revoking their parole, taking their children away, putting them in jail, or telling them to pee into a cup. Okay? It is not a pleasant experience for them. So if you sound like those people who are doing that to them, they will put you into that category. On the other hand, if you say, if you give me this information, I'm gonna give it to the judge and tell him he should let you out. Okay, so it's the same. I'm not telling you don't get the information that you need for the bail application. Just before you start that litany of questions, explain to your client how it is going to benefit him or her. For those of you, how many are private lawyers here? Okay, have to talk about fees. Okay, what is it? What is required in your jurisdiction? Do you have to have a written fee agreement? How are you gonna talk to them about how much it's going to cost? Are they gonna have to put up money for bail? Are they going to have to hire expert witnesses? What is it that you'll be able to get for them? What is it likely to cost, and who is it that's going to help them pay if it's going to be family members? Okay, at the end of every meeting, okay, with your client, every meeting, whether it's in the jail, whether it's at your office, whether it's at the crime scene, if you've met your client at the crime scene. How many of you meet your clients at the crime scene if they're out of custody? Okay, they're the ones who can tell you where people are standing. They're the ones who can help you know where potential witnesses are. So at the end of every meeting, you want to summarize, and what are you gonna do? Okay, you're gonna talk to your client. Okay, so I've got about 3 minutes
All
here.
right.
So I just wanna make sure that we're really clear on what I'm gonna do, what you're gonna do,
All right.
okay? So what is it that you're gonna do?
I'm gonna keep my eyes and ears open and my mouth shut, not talk to anybody.
Exactly right. Eyes and ears open, mouth
Shut.
And what are you gonna do, like if, we talked about the guy in the gang who's been pressuring you
Well,
and
tell
then,
them I can't talk about it.
yeah, you know what's a really good thing to do? Just
What?
blame it on me.
All right,
Everybody
so I
here
just say
hates
that
lawyers.
you,
Just say, my lawyer won't even tell me what the fuck's going on, she's such a
I
bitch.
could do that.
Really, everyone will believe it. So, you can just say, just blame it on me, they'll say, you talk to your lawyer, so what's going on in your case? Let's pretend. It's the creep. Yeah. Tell me what happened.
She didn't tell me shit. I mean, it's like, I don't know. She didn't say shit, I don't know why she came.
Perfect. That's perfect, okay? Then he's not gonna be mad at you, but you wouldn't have given him any information he can use
I
against
got
you.
it, I got it.
Okay, perfect. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I wrote this down, you told me you want me to talk to your boss,
Right?
to explain to him, and you think that he's gonna come into court and agree
He will.
to tell the judge,
He'll
okay?
come in.
I'm gonna talk to your girlfriend,
Okay,
and she's gonna take care of the kids and the dog,
all right,
okay? And then your mom, you think
Right.
that your mom is willing to come to court and that she'll put up bail
Yeah, she
money?
can get a ride there, but she should be able to.
Okay, where does she live?
She lives on Font Street.
All right, so I'll check with her, because if she can't get a ride, we'll make sure that either your girlfriend picks her up, or I'll send an investigator,
All right, all right.
okay? All right, so we know what you're gonna do, what I'm gonna do, and then, when am I gonna see you again?
You said you come by every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, but what's gonna happen if you have an emergency between now and then?
call my girlfriend, try to call my mom, and they'll call you.
Exactly, and
Or I may ask for Shanks.
exactly. And what's gonna happen is when you're on the phone with your girlfriend and she wants to know about the case?
Can't say anything to it, because, well, I mean, it's recorded, you know, it says this is from a jail, so it's recorded, she'll know.
Exactly, okay, so it's not, sounds like we, you know, I know we were kinda rushed today, but I think we got through a lot of information. So do you have any other questions for me for right now?
No, fine,
Okay, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Natale.
thank you, thank you.
Tony, right?
Tony.
Okay, so, what you wanna do then is to be successful, your client has to trust you, has to be part of the team, you have to listen to your client, and that bond that you're gonna have with your client starts the moment you meet him or her, and you build on that. So go out, meet your clients, and start working towards that not guilty.